Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Select Board meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. If I could please ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any amendments to the agenda tonight?
I don't have any.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. The agenda is approved. Selectman Hood is unable to attend tonight, so we will see him the next time. Any announcements tonight? Nope. Okay. I just want to say it was a very successful festival on Saturday and a lot of fun, and despite the weather, it was a very nice turnout. Okay. So, I should have mentioned this when we were going over the agenda, because we do have something on the agenda that honestly I think should not be here. Because I think that if it was taken off, then the event can't happen. If we don't recognize Cindy Knox, doesn't that mean she can't leave?
Good point.
Yeah. Following your logic.
Do you want to second that?
Yeah, definitely second. Sorry, Cindy.
Sorry, you can't go.
Good that I
Cindy, if you could.
brought my friend Tim.
So tonight, it's a happy occasion for you.
Yes.
Sad occasion for the rest of us, but we're also kind of happy for you. Cindy Knox is retiring, and she has been the IT specialist, director, guru. Honestly, whenever anyone ever asked you to do anything, you pretty much just did it.
Oh yeah, I like to keep busy.
Yep, yep. And always with a smile and a healthy attitude, and just always fun to see you. And it'll be sad not to see you here anymore. But you're off on retirement. How many years have you been here?
12.
Only 12?
Yep,
Okay.
12 years. 12 good years. Started part-time,
Yeah?
answered a little ad in the paper, and met Robert right after he started, and
And still decided to stay.
still
That's
decided
pretty
to
good.
stay.
Still
12
stay.
years, yeah.
Well, we do have something here for you. A certificate of recognition. This certificate is presented to Cindy Knox in valuable recognition of 12 years of dedicated service to the town of Ayer, serving as our first IT director.
Yeah.
Pioneer.
I expect the wing to be named after
And
me.
on behalf of the citizens and employees of the town of Ayer, congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. Best wishes in your future endeavors. Janice Lee Livingston, Chair. Sean C. Copeland, Vice Chair. Scott A. Hood, Clerk. Would you like to add anything?
Just
Thank you.
congratulations
Thank you.
on your retirement. Thank you for your years of service.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun, mostly.
Do you have a Cindy story you'd like to share?
Oh,
Sure,
boy.
Madam Chair. Real quick, Cindy, thank you for everything. She was our first IT director, which came about when I started in August of 2010. The first day I was here, my computer crashed, and I asked, God bless her, Janet Lewis at the time, what do you do about IT? And she said, well, there's somebody maybe at the school. We had no IT. And I had talked to some of the selectmen at that time, and there was a little bit of money that we had available for the IT position when Cindy
Very
mentioned
little.
she started off part-time as the IT director, and as our first IT director, really built the department. And she should be very proud of her 12 years here in Ayer. We are going to miss her. I'm not big on saying goodbye, but until we meet again. But she did an excellent job. The town's website, the town's Facebook page, almost all of the
Devon's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
almost all of the IT stuff for the town of Ayer in the last 12 years. Cindy somehow touched it and had something to do with it, and for that we're ever grateful. And she's also a dear friend to many and a talented photographer.
Very talented photographer.
And we are
Thank
going to
you.
say goodbye, but we're going to wish you all the best on the next adventure.
Do you have
Thank
any
you.
plans, any vacations?
Actually, I'm going to Maine next week, and I'm
You
gonna.
go, girl.
Yeah.
All the way to Maine.
I'm gonna next week. No, I'm gonna conquer in this winter and read books and make bread and take pictures.
Oh, okay, so we're going to your house for bread.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there'll always be bread there.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
And after that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out as I go along. So.
Okay. Are we going to take a picture? Or?
Yeah. Dan, would you mind using
Picture by the flag.
Yeah.
It always looks good.
So you can't take your own pictures.
What?
Yeah, you can't take this
Take your own
picture.
picture.
You're my guest. You can.
Sure.
Dan's like,
Whose phone is this,
"Oh,
Robert's?"
Yeah, you can go to some-
Just stand there. Smile.
Oh, wait.
Look at the camera.
Cheers.
Smile.
You should be very proud.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say Zoom.
Zoom. Say
Zoom.
Zoom. Great. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's true. We took care of all our Zoom meetings and everything.
Oh boy,
so.
did I.
Who will we contact to post that on
Whose
the
is
town's
this?
website?
In that case, dear Jen Johnson, you are fired.
Anybody else want to add anything real quick for Cindy? No? Okay, well,
On behalf of the fire department, she's been very helpful. I mean, IT, as we know, is an important part of our lives, so she's been always real supportive. So, no, congratulations to her. Thank you again for all her help.
Yeah, and DPW, she's easily approachable, great to work with, and it's sad to see you go, Cindy, so. Miss you.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I get bored of them.
Yeah, it's not too far.
you have left a wonderful legacy.
Thanks.
So whoever comes in after you, they get some huge shoes to fill. But there'll only be one first IT director. And that'll be you. Your name is
Alright.
like down in history for 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, all right. Next item is public input. Public input should be on agenda items, limited to about 3 minutes. Is there anybody here for public input? Okey-dokey. All right. Dan.
Good evening. Hey. Light agenda for me tonight, 2 items. So the first item on my agenda is the public meeting for the vote. See you, Cindy?
Bye.
The vote to lay out Pleasant Street Extension, a portion of it. This is the final phase. And I should recognize CJ Moore is in attendance. He's the proponent, the developer. So I attached a memorandum and an order of layout that's to be executed by the board to accept Pleasant Street Extension, a portion from Trevor Trail to its end. And this is the final step before fall town meeting for the project to be accepted by the town. I have been tracking with CJ. We've been working together on the punch list. They're doing a good job, so I anticipate they'll have it done by town meeting. If that were not to occur, then at the town meeting floor, I would recommend that the town meeting does not move forward with the acceptance of the project. So I recommend tonight that the board execute the order of layout for Pleasant Street Extension.
Pleasant Street Extension.
So it's,
Top of the hill.
yeah, the very end of Pleasant Street, going past, is it Taft? Yeah, as you go
Okay.
several hundred feet past Taft, yeah.
Just going to my head for a second there. Okay, any questions?
I have a question.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the vote to lay out for street acceptance as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. So that will go in front of town meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The second item I have tonight is the agreement for the Spectacle Pond transmission main replacement project. So the select board had authorized up to $600,000 for the Spec Pond transmission main replacement through ARPA. And we designed the project, Ty and Bond did, and we opened bids, was it in early September, or mid-September, excuse me. And we had 7 bids ranging from $437,310.01 to about $1.19 million. Trust me, the median was much lower. That was an outlier. The low bidder is Engrenese and Sons. They're from Salem, Mass, and they do have a good reputation. And we did do a background check on them with Time Bond, and they're a good contractor. So tonight before you is the contract to sign for that project. We have all their bonds and insurance, and I have the agreement was included in the packet, and I got it here for signature. This is by the chair for the $437,310.01.
I have no questions. Okay, I'll make a motion that the board execute the contract between Engrenese and Sons and the town of Ayer as presented.
Seconded? All those in favor?
Aye.
And chair says aye. Okay. Those signed.
So that's all the items I have. If I can just make one announcement, is we'll be paving Central Ave and Pleasant Street on Thursday. Originally it was scheduled for tomorrow, but due to the weather, we're gonna push it a day, and I'll get a notice out on the web and everything for that. But
I know, all summer we couldn't get any rain. Now it's like,
yeah.
could it just stop raining?
Yeah.
So,
All right.
okay, great.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dan.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, TJ.
Okay, so now we are going to review and approve the fall town meeting warrant.
Madam Chair, members of the board, good evening. I'd like to also just note that the town moderator is in attendance, and I believe the town clerk is in attendance remotely. You have in your packet the town meeting warrant for October 24th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the auditorium of the Ayer Shirley Regional High School. Upon your review, and approval this evening, the warrant will be officially and publicly posted by this Friday, October 7th, at various locations throughout town, including the town's website. And the warrant at that time will be sent for printing and mailing by the U.S. Post Office to all households in Ayer. Through the chair, in the interest of time, unless the board wants to in detail, just for the public's benefit, just the topics of the four articles. So there are 4 articles. The first one is Article 1, which is a street acceptance for Pleasant Street Extension, a portion of which the DPW director just spoke of and the board just approved. There will be a brief presentation on that by the DPW director and the planning board to report. Article 2 is another street acceptance for Woodland Way and a portion of Hemlock Drive. Article 3 is the Community Preservation Committee funding for the Ayer Commons Affordable Housing Project in the amount of $400,000 from the housing category of the CPC funds, and the Ayer Commons is the 40B project proposed on 65 Fitchburg Road. Again, there'll be a brief presentation through the moderator by the CPC on Article 3. And then Article 4 is another Community Preservation Committee funding for the 1943 Ayer Howitzer Restoration Project for a sum of $32,232 from the historic category for the preservation of the Ayer Howitzer. And again, a brief presentation to be made at town meeting. And those are the 4 articles before the board. I don't know if there are any questions that the board may have, and then we'd be looking for your approval.
So I have a couple questions. One, has the planning board voted on these?
Yes.
If I may.
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
Evening, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
The
Please
planning
introduce
bo-
yourself.
I'm sorry, Jeff Tillotson, sitting here as a member of the planning board. I'm actually the clerk at this point. The planning board did vote on the acceptance of the road for Mr. Moore, and
Okay.
we are pleased that Mr. Van Skelquist is doing his due diligence on it. And we are also under the same impression that should the road not be ready to be accepted by the town, they will withdraw the article at town meeting.
So that was for the Pleasant Street extension
That's
one?
what Pleasant Street Extension is.
So what was the vote? Was it 5-0, 4-1?
I'd be honest with you, Madam Chair, I don't believe anybody, I'm not sure we were all in attendance, but I think everybody who was there was in favor of it.
Okay. So prior to the printing of this, could we get that from the planning board as to what the vote was and then put it on here for all the articles?
Yeah.
And the same for the second article for the street acceptance?
To be honest with you, I can't recall.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't look it up for you.
Okay.
Madam
All
Chair.
right. Probably was.
But you
But
did vote to approve it.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was voted to, we approve, and I imagined it would be unanimous.
Okay.
Or whomever was in the room.
okay.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have very many votes that get close along those lines.
Okay. So if we could get the and put that so that when it
For
gets
both.
printed, I
Yep.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That's very helpful, thank you.
Okay. So my second question is, and this was actually asked of me, and I thought, well, when one asks, it's best to, address it for somebody else. Sponsor. When we put on the warrant, the sponsor, there seems to be some confusion. So somebody thinks that we're already telling the town, like, no, you can't disagree with us. So just to clear that up, yes, you can.
Sure.
That is what town meeting, but could you kind of explain what sponsor means?
Yes, so Madam Chair, so to clarify, so first, the warrant is the sole authority of the select board. So and I know you know this is for the public benefit. So the select board determines, as you are tonight, what articles are put on the warrant, and it's the only entity that can do that. With respect to the articles in the warrant, for example, the sponsor of the majority of articles is the select board. Now, that means that the select board has put it before town meeting for town meeting to decide. Now, in the past, as you know, we have put, like, for example, as on this one, sponsor select board, depending on the vote tonight, we have in the past sometimes put in parentheses recommends, say 2-0, or recommends 2-1 or something. Not always, but it's just the sponsor is putting that forth. On street acceptances and zoning bylaw articles, it does require the planning board the planning board's vote, which will put planning board whether they support or not, and to report at town meeting. And as many know, it, the report of the planning board could be as simple as the chair or a member addressing the body saying we reviewed and approved. It also could be a full presentation. The CPC articles, at least in Ayer, traditionally the sponsor for the CPC has been the Community Preservation Committee. Now again, the select board, and this is just a hypothetical, if the select board didn't approve, say, Article 3 to advance, that is your legal purview. But generally for the CPC, we've had them as the sponsor. Finally, none on this warrant, but you'll see usually on a lot of financial articles when we get to the annual town meeting, the Finance Committee bylaw can put its position. So you'll see, Finance Committee recommends or to report at town meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I know, like you said, in the past we've sometimes, said, okay, the board voted, it was 3-0 or 2-1 or something like that. I think that sometimes that can be a little confusing, so it would probably be good if we were saying, it was 3-0 to put this on the warrant, or 3-0 we recommend, because there are some people that feel they don't know what the select board's position is. So this is not necessarily, for this town meeting article, but for the future town meeting, just to kind of help, clarify that. Because some people get a little confused and then they find out at town meeting. I'm of the mind usually is that I'm always, to be clear, whenever I, agree to put an article forward, I'm literally saying I want everyone to look at it. So I'm always I probably do agree with it, but more importantly, I want the town to look at it and vote. But I just wanted to clear that up. So thank you very much.
Madam Chair, if I may, I see that the town clerk's hand is up.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Hi, on that note, just to go back about the planning board vote for the acceptances, yeah, I know that it was on an agenda and they were voted, but I'm not sure the minutes have been approved. And so I don't think that approval will be done before the printing. So we may want to put, that the planning board will report at town meeting. Because if the minutes haven't been approved by the board, I'm not sure, and we could maybe double check with town council before putting that there's a definite vote on that, because the minutes haven't been accepted by the board. You know what I'm trying to say?
So I understand what you're saying, but let's also be honest, if it's people are in the room or it's, on the video that they took the vote,
Yep.
isn't that also the vote's been taken? I mean, if we sit here and vote, whatever we voted on here at this table, it goes forth. We don't wait for the meeting minutes to be typed up and approved to say, okay, now you can do it. So I understand what you're saying. I'm just kind of expanding on that conversation a bit.
Right. And what I want to give caution on is the fact that this is a warrant, a town meeting warrant, and that's my only question.
Okay.
That's where I would want to get the clarification before it's printed on Friday and mailed out.
Okay.
That's all. So
I
it's just
agree. No, I agree.
thing to double check. Otherwise, yes, I would agree, but this is a town meeting warrant, so I just have extra caution on that. That's all.
That's easy enough. We'll verify that.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. As long as we have something,
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Do you have any questions about
No.
any of the articles?
Nope.
Okay.
So,
So do we want to put, Article 3 and 4, they need our vote as to whether or not we recommend.
yep.
And then, of course, we would be putting the other two on the warrant.
And then
So-
vote on the whole thing.
Yeah.
So Article 3 and 4 first. So I'll make a motion that the select board vote to approve the Community Preservation Committee funding for the Ayer Commons Affordable Housing Project as presented in the warrant.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the chair says aye.
Okay. I'll make a motion, sorry.
Just so we're clear, so on 3 and 4 then, you want to say select board recommends 2-0?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that the Ayer Select Board vote to approve Article 4, the Community Preservation Committee funding for the 1943 Ayer Howitzer Restoration Project as presented in the warrant.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Okay.
And then I will make a motion that the Ayer Select Board approve the Town of Ayer Special Annual Fall Town Meeting warrant as presented this evening.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. And the warrant is approved. Thank you very much.
So, Madam Chair, the warrant is obviously approved. Article 3 and Article 4 will select board recommends 2-0.
Yes.
And we will verify and check with town council on the planning board votes.
Correct.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Next.
Madam Chair, Selectman Copeland, good evening. You have in the packet the review of the town warrants that were approved since the board last met. In terms of the administrative update, as mentioned, we're about to start in real earnest, start the entire budget process. I'm pleased to report that I joined the town moderator and, as discussed here, Selectman Hood at the first meeting of the reconstituted Finance Committee last week. There are 4 members. They're still working on getting a 5th member. I know the moderator is working on that. Very energized group, very interested group. We just sort of talked about an overview of the budget process, a little bit about the open meeting law, public records law, and we didn't scare any of them away, at least I didn't. Scott shared some good points from his experience of being on the finance committee for so many years. The moderator kicked off the meeting. It was good. So we're looking forward to meeting with working with the finance committee. Mr. Ponte, the finance manager, was there as well. They are going to have another meeting coming up very shortly. As Selectman Livingston knows, the Cable Advisory Committee is well underway and is currently doing a survey for public input about Comcast for the new agreement. And perhaps for the next meeting on the 18th, we'll have a little bit more of a update on the cable process. As the DPW director mentioned, a lot of finishing of projects this time of year before winter buttons up. And we're looking forward to the rate review committee is going to meet next week. Capital, I think, the week after that. So it's going to be another exciting year. I don't know if select board members have any administrative questions, and then I just have one action item for this evening.
I can't think of anything.
So I have in the packet the FY24 budget calendar as put together by the buy board. And one of the things, generally, I mean, this is up to the select board. Generally, by now, by the beginning of October, we're asking the board, to approve the calendar. Specifically, what makes this work since the select board started this is that the deadlines on all of the major things get set. And if there are any changes on those major deadlines, it requires us to come before the select board for a discussion and your approval. That way, we stick to it. The one thing that it was sort of in process, as I just mentioned, the buy board, the capital planning, the FinCom, and the rate review committee are all just having their sort of first meetings, it seems, in October. And on the agendas of each of those is sort of their meeting schedule moving ahead. So the only thing that isn't populated, but under each month in October, November, I put an italicized note that says buy board, capital planning, FinCom, and rate review committee to meet monthly in posted open meetings. Please refer to the posting board outside of town hall or the town's website for specific meeting dates and times, just to cover this at this point. Now, for example, the rate review committee will meet on October 11th. One of their agenda items is the meeting is moving forward. If it's the pleasure of the board, once the rate review approves that, then we can populate that in here. So I just didn't want to, that was the only thing, unless the board has any other questions or changes. That's sort of the last piece, and the only reason is everybody seems to be meeting this month to set up their schedule. So I don't know if there are any questions from the board. Again, if you would be more comfortable at the next meeting approving it. I know that some of the committees we will have heard from by then, or otherwise we can just populate as they.
I think
set
all the
this.
major events are
They're
listed
in here.
on it.
Yep.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
whether or not when the rate review meets,
Mhm.
that's not as a major
Right.
necessarily.
Madam Chair, just when we take the draft watermark off too, we're gonna add in the locations, the transfer station. I inadvertently left that out. So you see where the thing is,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
warrant is
right.
listed? We're just gonna add in the transfer station.
Okay.
Just
Right.
FYI.
So as Ms. Anthony
On
mentioned.
October 7th, it just says like town hall, library, police station, Jack Lanner.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna add in transfer station as
Oh,
well.
okay.
So as the board is aware, and the town clerk reminded me previously, now that we have 3 precincts, the transfer station and the dog park are the 2 official posting places for precinct 3. So the warrant, people often wonder why the warrant, for example, is posted at the Jack-o'-lantern and Pauline's. It has been for years and years because that covered precinct 2. So, yeah, that's one edit there.
Yeah. And as a reminder too, we've got the electronic sign at the fire station that kind of tells us some of the stuff that's going on, when needed. you know, town meetings, elections and things like that. It gets posted to the town's website, and it also gets posted to the town's Facebook page, which is followed, which I believe was about almost 5,000 people. So great, thank you. So yeah, so I don't have a problem with the budget.
Me neither.
So
So I'll make a motion that the select board vote to approve the Town of Ayer fiscal year 24 budget calendar as presented in the agenda or packet this evening.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. Okay, budget calendar's been approved.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, that went quick. Okay. Any new business or questions?
I did, just, Dan, do you mind coming? I just have a quick question. Just on, a couple weeks back, we talked about the crossing the lights at the Washington Street.
Oh, yeah.
Were we able to find out if we had an extra set or?
We do have an extra set. I haven't met with the highway guys to see where we could locate it, so
Okay.
let me do that and
Okay.
report back. Yeah.
And then just two other things that somebody had brought up to me, and I said that for a different meeting, but just to bring out. Apparently, there's been several people that are the first space in front of like Union Coffee on Washington seems to be like an issue for blocking visibility. Have we ever looked into like eliminating that space, or maybe
Let me
making it a
look at
motorcycle
it.
space or whatever?
Yeah, because that should be, because there's a crosswalk. People shouldn't be parking there. So let me look at that, and I'll talk to the police chief too,
Okay.
what we can do. Okay.
And then the
First
other
audit,
was,
yeah.
in terms of like reduced speed on populated streets, this one is specific, like Nashua Street, people park on both sides, especially the lower part that's one way. Is there a way that the town would ever like reduce from like a 25 to a 15 or?
See, I don't think you can go below a 25. There's a speed zoning regulation Mass DOT has. So I can look at that and see if there's any potential to
Sure.
do anything
That'd be great,
there.
just to-
But
yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head that there is something we can do.
Yeah, if
immediately.
you don't mind
Let
just
me-
looking into it, yeah, that'd be great.
Sure.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wait a minute, I got a quick question, which might not be your lane. Okay, but it made me think of this. So when people's trees are kind of like falling over public sidewalks and, you know, kind of blocking the corners where you're trying to, you know, especially some of our streets where you
Yeah.
really have to kind of inch out.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, I'm not, like I said, this might not be your lane, but do we do something? Or can we talk to the owners and say,
Yeah.
look, you know, it's over the fence, we need to trim this because people literally cannot walk on a sidewalk, they have to walk on the street because the tree limbs are so low
So
and things like that?
Yeah, so we try to work with the homeowner first. We are allowed to, you know, if you draw an invisible line from the right-of-way property line up, we can trim that up to that point, and then we're still not on the property, and we're allowed to do that. But typically we'll try to work with the homeowner. I know there's one, I want to say it was on
Columbia-
Cambridge Street, there was one that
Columbia
we dealt with.
is a problem.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there's like, and the tree as you go up Columbia to turn to, on the right towards Williams.
Yeah.
That's just examples
Okay.
of some. But yeah, sometimes you're trying to inch out, you know, and you can only inch a car out so far before you're finally like,
Yeah.
you're committed.
Yeah, so we can trim, you know, legally up to that line, but then we also typically work with the homeowner, and usually everyone's reasonable and about it. So if you want to, you know, shoot afterwards, let me know where the locations are that
Okay.
really
Okay.
problem spots, and I can have the guys drive around too to see.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, anything else?
That was it. Okay, I'll make a motion that the Ayer Select Board adjourn at 6:34 p.m.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
And chair says aye. Good night, everybody.